Okay guys, so let's work on this geode together. I prepared the background and the druzy beforehand on the day before I even start pouring. So the druzy was completely cured and I've mixed here 200 milliliters of geode resin from Colorberry, and I made sure that everything is mixed properly, and I used calculator to actually check the amount for the panel that I was having. And I'm showing you here the cups that I'm using, and I'm reusing the same paper cups. And I love to pour with them because they're having very nice tips, and I can control the resin by squeezing the cup to the fullest. I'm adding a little bit of transparent resin, and I'm applying Carrot Shimmer into that from Colorberry collection. And I wanted to have a little bit of white coverage, so I added just a tiny bit of white into the resin as well, and I added white silver glitter as well. And this is just the mixture of those three ingredients, and I'm pouring it around the druzy. And every time you prepare a mixture of resin for a pour, make sure that you have enough in cup to cover all of the sides, so the design is matching and you will not run out of the resin before you complete full lines around the druzy. And if you have any leftover, it's not a big deal, because you can use it as a background for the next mixture, or a little bit later with new lines. And I'm pouring inside of those druzy little puddles as well. The same mixture with Carrot Shimmer, a little bit of white silver glitter, and a little bit of white pigment paste. And yeah, I will soon move to another line, but it's taking time. Even with 4 times speed, it's taking time. But if you want to see me pouring in real time with all of the tips I'm giving on the camera, like really all of the details, nitty-gritty details, and the full preparation of the panel, and how I'm making the druzy, how I'm attaching it, like every single detail step of the way, check the details in the description, because I will add my training in there. And I've added to the transparent resin Carrot Forest from Colorberry collection. It's very dark green mica powder. And I wanted to finish the first paddle, so in another cup I'm mixing transparent Fertello green. It's just pigment, transparent resin pigment, green, dark green resin pigment, but you can use alcohol ink as well if you don't have any. And I'm applying it in the center because I wanted to have a little bit more transparency in the center. And I'm gonna work on each of the paddle. And again, it's Carrot Forest. I'm wiping up with the baby wipe. So baby wipe is your best friend if you have any accidental leak of your resin. And I'm applying just transparently tinted resin in green color in the center as well. And then I'm finishing the third paddle exactly the same. Sometimes if I'm running out of the pigment, I'm making the new mixture. So I'm making mixture from Carrot Shimmer, glitter, and white to pour in the center, so all of the designs are matching and are the same. Now Carrot Forest, just Carrot Forest and in transparent resin, and I will finish the center with transparent green. And the resin is starting to sink into the druzy, so I'm gonna come in and reapply a little bit of Carrot Forest from here and there. And I'm mixing here glitter. I'm adding more transparent resin. I'm having white silver glitter and white pigment paste. And Carrot Shimmer is the same mixture that I started, but as you see, when I stopped pouring the resin run underneath the Druzy. So I'm reapplying the same line as I applied at the beginning of my pour, just one more time. Both sides of the Druzy, so it's matching. Also on the edges of the panel. I'm doing geode shaping with the stick. I'm adding carrot forest a little bit more because it started to sink into the Druzy. Adding transparent to my green. It's just transparent green. And I'm checking first the color on the canvas. It's if I like the intensivity. This is how you can check if the color is nice. And if it's like too dark or too light, you can always adjust it before you pour the lines. And again, matching the design from both sides of the Druzy. Just transparent green. This is what I love to do on the metallic background, working a lot with transparent colors, because you will have the background peeking through your resin when it's cured, and it's gonna give you a completely different effect than if you would pour on white or black or whatever other color. So now I'm applying, I'm having a diamond earrings pigment from Fox Rizzle. I'm mixing it with resin, just this one pigment, and I'm pouring it around the transparent green. And as I mentioned, the video is 4 times speed, so it's much slower. I'm doing it much slower, and it's taking me much longer to actually finish it. And I'm now connecting the lines with the green. And as you can see, I'm applying a lot of fine lines. This is my style of working with resin. Applying a lot of fine lines, doing geode shaping with the stick, and this way I can control resin better than pouring just a huge volume of one pigment on top of the canvas and letting it flow. Doing a little bit of geode shaping with the stick, just to be sure that it's having a little bit more interesting look than just plain straight line. It's making a difference when the resin is cured in the shape and flow of the resin. So I'm reapplying again carrot forest because it's disappearing underneath the Druzy. So I'm adding a little bit more. And thanks to the paper cups, I can control, and as you can see, I didn't make a huge mess and I didn't make the Druzy dirty. And it's when you pour with those paper cups, small paper cups, and you squeeze them very nicely, you have a better control over resin. And now I'm mixing carrot forest with transparent resin. Just enough to pour around the previous line. Okay, let's finish also pouring the carrot forest on the other side to complete the look. I'm now using the stick to make sure that everywhere the line is with the thickness that I like, right? It's not too thin, and it's going over the edge, and it's also connecting nicely with the previous line. I will also do some geode shaping with the sticks to make sure that the lines are having nice form. And baby wipes are the best friends of yours. If you have any spills of the resin, or resin is not on in the on the panel, the places that you want it to be, just use the baby wipes. And you can see now the geode shaping that I'm doing with the bamboo stick, and because it's having very thin and nice shape, it's so easy to do the geode shaping with it. Now I'm just building the opacity of the green, so I'm mixing my transparent green with carrot forest. I'm combining those two together, adding more transparent. So basically in the next few lines I'm gonna build up the opacity. So I'm going from more opaque mica to less opaque mica with more transparent and more transparent, and I will finish with the same transparent green that I was using around the Druzy in the first place, but in a way that I create an ombre effect, which is more of my signature look. And I'm doing it by building the opacity line by line, step by step, and pouring it this way on the canvas. Very fine lines. Each time I'm adding more transparent, and now I'm adding back a lot of transparent resin with the green, Fertello green transparent pigment. I'm still using a little bit of leftover resin with mica, because I don't want to go directly from mica, from very opaque mica pigment to nothing. And remember to cover all of the sides, all 3 sides, so the design is matching. And now going with more and more transparent green. So each of the moves is very, very much calculated. It's creating the ombre effect. Sometimes if you have like a very small area to cover, you can use a bamboo stick, especially if the resin is starting to be very, very thick. It's a good idea to apply bamboo stick. Apply resin with bamboo stick because it's very thick and it's not always flowing nicely from the cup anymore. Again, tinting with more transparent. If you want to have all of the decision-making process, if you want to learn how I'm rebalancing the piece after my pour, if you want to know why I'm doing some of the moves, how I'm making the decision to finish the look, when I'm moving from color to another one, from one color to the other color, when I make the decision to actually stop pouring and leave the piece, yeah, I'm gonna leave those very, very advanced detailed information for the classes, for everyone who is interested. But you see everything here now. And now I'm adding carrot shimmer to transparent resin, and I'm using whatever was left from my first pour around the Druzy. It was much more white, but it's mostly just carrot shimmer with some leftovers from my first line. And this is something which is gonna create also a very nice 3D effect with the transparent, because mica is gonna flow on top of the resin and transparent is just giving you the depth. It's not very visible on the camera, but this is something that you can see on the resin when it's cured, the depth and the 3D effect of the resin. And it's gonna be another color when the green one is gonna merge with Karat Shimmer. And now I'm building the opacity, so I'm just adding a little bit more white, making it more foggy, and it's still Karat Shimmer with just a splash of white pigment paste to make it a little bit more opaque, to build up the opacity. And every time, as you see, I'm doing some geode shaping with the stick as well, because I don't want the lines to be just straight. And I'm adding a little bit more white, so it's the same background, the leftovers from the cup, but with a little bit more white pigment. Connecting the lines, because I want to see how it's flowing. I want to feel the piece a little bit better. And I'm torching because the resin is very, very dense right now. And this is when I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna finish the piece with the white, and I'm gonna stop pouring, and I'm gonna leave the negative space. And later on, I made a decision to actually finish it with wispy look. So I'm gonna show you the wispy look as well here, but I stopped with white because the resin was very, very dense. It started to, I was at the end of pot life of the resin, and I wanted to give myself chance to think how I want to finish the piece without rushing into any kind of decision, like random decision. I'm finishing. I have still a leftover of Karat Forest, so I'm using it to pour inside those puddles because all of my Karat Forest just disappeared. And I'm using the leftover of the transparent green as well in the middle of the puddle. So I actually use first the transparent green and the second Karat Forest. As you can see on some of the puddles, the Karat Forest just disappear underneath the Druzy, and I didn't have any dark line on the edge. That's why I decided to reapply it. Please make sure that you only use torch at the end of your project and you don't use any heat guns, because heat guns are gonna destroy all of the shading and ombre effect that you can create by pouring fine lines with the techniques that I'm teaching. So no heat guns, guys, in the geode pours. So I decided to work on the piece a little bit further, and I did some gold finish around the druzy, also posca pen lines to have a better feeling of the artwork. And then I decided to finish the negative space with some special wispy effects, and I'm gonna show you how I did it. So I decided to work into stages to have a better understanding of the piece, and I mix only maybe like 30 milliliters of resin, clear resin, geode resin from Colorberry, and I use the same pigment. So I'm having Karat Shimmer, I'm having white, clear white pigment paste, and I'm having diamond earrings. So I'm using exactly the same pigments that I was using in other lines, and I'm creating three kind of opacities. So in one cup I'm mixing much more white and much more shimmer, much more dense and opaque color. In second cup I'm mixing just a little bit of shimmer and diamond earrings with a touch of white, so it's like semi-transparent color. And this last cup, it's very, very transparent. There is just a tiny shimmer to the transparent tone, so it's not completely transparent, but it's having some sparkle. And this is how I was building the opacity. 3 cups, one very transparent, second medium, and the last one was much more white. And first I'm applying the transparent because this is how you build the opacity, and this is how you build in any kind of abstract design the wispy effect. You apply first white, then the medium transparent and medium opaque, and the last is the heaviest pigment. Now I'm playing with the stick a little bit more intense mica and white. You can see that it's just tiny bit more foggy white, and at the end I'm applying with the stick a little bit more intense white, to create a better look and design. And I just merge it with the flow of the piece, and after curing I just torch it at the end, and after curing I'm gonna apply a little bit of gold varnish with floating pigment to make it a little bit more special. And this is it. This is gonna be full resin design, and the only thing that it's missing is gonna be the top coat on top of the painting to make the level of the resin again like the even, and to protect also the posca pens lines that I drew. And I'm gonna show you on the last screen the final effect, but we are almost there, guys. And again, if you want to see the full design and why I was drawing the lines in this place and not the other place, how I was finishing with gold, please join the classes. And also you can comment and post underneath. I will try to help you as much as possible. And this is the close-up of this wispy look and wispy effect on top of the gold background. So now you can see the final look after drying and finishing it with some gold additional touches. I can show you now how the piece is looking. The only thing that is missing is the top coat with the transparent resin to protect everything, but you can see how the piece is looking like in the full sunlight. You can see the close-up on the gold effect and the wispy effect that I finished with a little bit of gold varnish to make it more special. And yeah, that's it, guys. It's just amazing opportunity to learn so many different techniques. After seeing that many of my students are struggling with rebalancing the piece and actually with making decision about doing the line work and adding the effects and what to do, when to do, and how to even do it, I've decided to pack the classes with as many information as possible, so please check the link in the description, but also don't hesitate to ask me any questions below. And if you want to see more videos and tutorials with many tips, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will not miss any more valuable notifications. And you will up-level your skills with me before you even know it.